think of that game yesterday?
Well, I think he's just absolutely shattered. And I'm sitting here in Buffalo right now. I'm standing in this facility right here, right next to Highmark Stadium. In the next couple hours, the players will be coming in here to clean out their lockers and leave town. It happens really, really fast. And I think yesterday was an interesting study. I was at the whole pregame and I was at the game. As I'm walking in and I'm in this big crowd of people going in to go through and turnstiles and pass their tickets, there's all this camaraderie between Bengals fans and Bills fans. And I heard more than once Bills fans say, you know, if it's not us, I hope it's you guys. This is going to be a great day of football. As I left 3 hours later, the first fan I ran into was wearing one of those giant water buffalo hats, and he looks up and he screams, "Why was I born in this town?" I feel you, man. I hear you. My heart goes out to you. The strangest thing about the loss here for the Bills in this town right now is that there's no overtime discussion today. The defense didn't blow it in 13 seconds. There was no officiating debacle. In fact, the most important couple of calls in the game probably went the Bills' way. Josh Allen was not knocked out of the game. There's none of that. They were just thumped for 3 hours by a better, tougher, grittier, more clutch team. And it's a really, really strange feeling, especially since a lot of the players afterwards, the Bills players, were talking in their locker room about, we didn't have anything today. Matt Milano, all-pro, leader of the defense, says, quote, "We had no real energy today, no juice." And why? Why? Is it this emotional come-down that we've been waiting for or fearing for weeks since Damar Hamlin? Was that it? Because I don't think you're going to hear the players make that excuse, and I don't think they should. Damar Hamlin was there. He was with family. He's healthy. He's going to be okay. They just didn't show up with any electricity at all. They were beaten soundly. It looked like they would have lost 8 times if they played the Bengals 10. And so all the talk this morning moving forward is there's your classic, we need to fire everybody. There's the our Bills teams under McDermott are becoming Marty Schottenheimer teams that run up good records and they do nothing in the playoffs. There's Josh Allen is James Harden. Like, it's all being said. It's all being talked about. That was a start-to-finish L with no asterisk, no controversy, no rule change from the league in the offseason to make things all better and feel nice and warm inside. Just a terrible, terrible ice-cold L against a team that was way better than them on the biggest day the stadium has seen in 30 years.
You nailed it, Kyle. Thank you very much. Kyle's still in Buffalo after being there yesterday to watch it all unfold firsthand. So him speaking on the emotional energy in the building before and after is putting truth out there. All right. What do the rest of us think about the Bills and the way they went out yesterday on the season?
Look, I think they were a preseason Super Bowl favorite, and Josh Allen was the preseason MVP and all that stuff, but they lost in the divisional round last year as well. The Bengals were the better team last season. The Bengals were the better team this season. And I think the Bengals were the better team yesterday up and down in every single way. I look at Buffalo, though, and it's like the way they lost was just so defeating if you're a Bills fan. That wasn't a classic showdown with 13 seconds left. Mahomes goes down the field. Like, this was a blowout in your own building. And you start wondering, if not now, when? Josh Allen is now 26. He's going to be 27, and he's now been into the playoffs several times, and he hasn't gotten to the championship game again. And I said it on Friday. I'm like, I'm worried Monday we're going to walk in here and be like, Warren Moon's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he never played in a Super Bowl. Sonny Jurgensen was a Hall of Fame quarterback, never been in the Super Bowl. Dan Fouts, Hall of Fame quarterback, never been in a Super Bowl. Is that Josh Allen's fate? Or is this team going to someday get over the Bengals and over the Chiefs? Jordan Poyer's a free agent. Roger Saffold's a free agent. Tremaine Edmonds is a free agent. The cap hit on Allen gets way bigger this season because of the way the contract was written up. This was a team I think everyone thought had higher expectations for, and that it ends 27-10 at home. It's deflating if you're a Bills fan, and I'm not so certain it's that, hey, we'll be back next year. Last year, that felt that way.
Yes.
This year, it feels like, gosh, like, did we underperform this season? What a sudden end to the year.
Yeah, and Kyle talked about them not having enough energy, not any juice, and When you go out there in the first drive that the Bengals had, and they go straight down the field as if it's a Saturday walkthrough and you're just going over the script of your first few plays, and there's a scout team out there and they're just like, hey, let them catch the ball, or on the second touchdown by Burrow, hey, we're going to pump fake the screen, everybody run to the screen so we can make sure this is how the play is going to work on Sunday. There's nothing to be energized about. The way the Bengals came out in that game, they just took it straight to Buffalo, and it was a huge letdown. And Peter, to your point, like, you don't know when this is going to happen, and you talked about Jordan Poyer and Tremaine Edmonds being free agents. That Buffalo Bills defense struggled yesterday, and you go back to even the wild card division against a third-string Skylar Thompson, and they didn't dominate in that game as well. It was a close one. So a lot of question marks for Buffalo now going into the offseason, a team that we all thought for sure, everybody at the network, we all were saying Buffalo represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow's looking like, no, like, I've beaten Mahomes, now I've beaten Allen. Like, I'm the guy. We're the team in the AFC, and they showed it yesterday.
Yeah, the Bengals showed up and showed out. I think the Bills losing is not necessarily the story. It's how they lost. It's how the Bengals were able to take it to them. And look, the Bills defense could not get the Bengals off the field. They couldn't tackle them. But when all of a sudden the defense is struggling, sometimes offensive players start to press. And I felt like that's what Josh Allen did in this game. All of a sudden you look up and you're down 14-0. It's like, okay, now I got to do something. I got to make something happen. And he was just off. All the throws to Stephon Diggs, the slants, the deep comebacks, the go balls up the sideline, they were just a little bit off. And every single time Josh tried to will this team back into the game, right there, misses Stephon Diggs. There's another one later on in the game up the sideline where he slides into the reporter on the sideline and hits the wall. It was just a little bit off. And I can only put it on, this is the throw I'm talking about right here, or maybe not. I can only put it on the fact that Josh was trying so hard. Like, I've got to make something special happen. This offense did not look like the Buffalo Bills offense that we had seen all season long.
No, but there were games. The Jets games, like we'd seen glimpses. That's what I was watching yesterday. I'm like,
not on this big of a scale.
They kind of
It's
revealed.
too much put on Josh Allen, though.
They kind of revealed themselves, though. That's what they were a lot this year. Like, Josh Allen got hurt in that first Jets game.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was the same. I don't think the offense was the same since.
He threw like 3 picks in that game, too. And I think that was the one thing that he did all season long that was a little bit, on Josh Allen-like, was not taking care of the football. But again, I think it was him just feeling like, I got to do more. I got to do more.
They don't run the ball. They put
he had
the ball in his
26 yards
hands
rushing,
every single play, and it's just like, go win for us, go win
And
for
he
us.
didn't run the ball yesterday.
No.
They didn't even try it. Like, I thought that was going to be 20 runs from Josh Allen, cold weather, dominant. It was like they were doing the air raid offense or something, and that's not what
the Bengals had to plan in the snow.
I want to circle back to the end of your point about Stephon Diggs. And, like, I know he got hurt yesterday, so there was a beat where he was out. But, like, the interactions and that end of that clip that we just saw, Josh Allen's looking at Stephon Diggs like, aren't you supposed to be doing this? And then they're on the sideline. Stephon's like, what are we doing here, man? Whatever this exchange was fascinating. Now, we've seen both ends of the scale now between these two. On Thanksgiving, they're hugging it up. I love you. I'm thankful for you. And now Diggs is like, what are we doing today? I'd love to catch the ball more. And then after the game, it's reported that Stephon Diggs grabs his stuff as fast as he possibly could, tries to hightail it out of the locker room before the coaches are even back in the locker room. One of the other players for the Bills has to go and get Stephon Diggs, bring him back in just to participate in the team meeting before he leaves quickly. Kyle, it was an interesting read yesterday, not only the body language on the sideline during this interaction between wide receiver and quarterback, but also the subsequent behavior by Stephon Diggs on the postgame. Just what do you know of these two guys, and now that the situation has unfolded, how do you translate it for us?
Well, I think the look on the sideline with the arms spread out wide was Bush League as hell. I think at that moment to stand there in front of your quarterback and sell him out like that, that's not what he's about. But I don't want to completely vilify Stephon Diggs. Look, at least he's awake. At least he has some passion and he's in some intensity. And with some of these own guys were even admitting there was no juice and energy in the sideline. Too little, too late, and this is a bad look. And I think Diggs and Allen are legitimately close. But you're right. Like, he took off yesterday. After the game, he was out of there by before the time they got in. I mentioned the players that are going to come in the next couple hours. People I'm talking to here don't anticipate that Stephon Diggs will come in. He might already be out of town. He might already be gone. He might have left last night, that he's not here. So I don't think this is one of these, like, typical quarterback, wide receiver, adversarial relationships. This is not McNabb and T.O. They're really pissed off that they lost. Diggs shows it in different ways. I don't love that he did that in the sideline. He probably doesn't either. But this is what happens when everything comes apart and you lose again in the playoffs, because this is now, guys, they're getting farther away. It was the title game, and then it was a loss in the divisional, and then it was a bad loss in the divisional. And, you know, it's a Peter's point, like, they didn't lose because Josh threw a bunch of interceptions. He didn't. He threw one at the end when the game was already out of hand. They were just not good enough. So people are frustrated as hell. Dix is not the only one.